Hey guys, it's Pliskin here. Today, my last video I made was when we was out shooting at 500, 200 yards. And today I'm just going to talk in length about, well, I don't know really in length, but I'm just going to talk about how happy I was with the Handloads. They ran really well. They were 168 grain AMAX bullets, 30 caliber. Here is the brass. We have them in. We used Winchester brass to do the Handloads. So let me get one out and let y'all see the primer. The primer strike was decent. It wasn't too deep and it wasn't too light. The consistency on which the firing pin struck the primers was a good indication that we had our headspace correct. The firing pin strikes on the back of the primers was very consistent. I'm sitting here. Now I'll show you all of them. It's very consistent. None of them hit too hard or too light. It is all just the even amount of required whack to make them go boom. Here's the five Ultramax bullets we shot. I shot 11 total. But anyway, they did very good. Like we said, we initially just wanted to try what we was striving for that day wasn't accuracy. Like I even said in the video, I didn't really care if they hit very well. Like if they grouped, I was just wanting to see if they'd function through the gun. And they did for the most part without any hang-ups, except for the one bullet that didn't get stripped out of the magazine into the chamber. I believe that was because I didn't have the magazine seated correctly. Because I went back in the footage and I looked and I heard where it clicked with the op-rod spring grabbing the magazine, but I didn't hear the one click for when the latch on the trigger group grabbed the mag, so it didn't strip that one off. But anyway, and even when we was just out there planking, just seeing if they'd run through the gun, they grouped beyond my wildest dreams at 200 yards. I mean, that was unreal. And I was just goofing off. I wasn't really even trying to hit the board. I was just aiming. I was aiming at it, but I didn't figure it would ever group that well. But yeah, that's promising. What we used, the powder that we used was IMR 4064. And we used 40.2 grains of it. It was roughing about 2,400 feet per second. And in the Hornaday reloading book over here there's a page for the 308 Winchester service rifle, which is my M14. IMR 4064 and 40.2 grains of powder. It's reading right there just below red line. So we don't want to go over in the 14 because my M1A, because it's not a bolt action and it will not handle the massive amount of pressure buildup if we go over red line. In my dad's bolt action, all of his Handloads and stuff for his rifle, we couldn't even run through mine because one, headspace is completely off, and two, it would probably blow the gun up. And that's that's not a question. I'm about certain it probably would, because his, especially for his Encore, he has those loaded way over red line. And that's because his Encore can handle it, because his Encore is break open. And if we were to put any of that in my M14, I have no doubts that it would look like a car bomb. Just explosion. But anyway, yeah, I was very pleased with the AMAX bullets at 200 yards. And those are the first hand loads we ever had out of my gun, ever. Everything we've shot out of it's been factory ammo. So I'm happy, especially with the fact that they grouped the way they did at that distance, and we weren't trying to get groups. We was just trying to see how well they had run through the gun, like strip up from the magazine into the chamber, fire, and then extract, and then do it again. And it did all of that with the added benefit of grouping perfectly. I mean, can't get no better than that. So when we get a scope on it, we'll try different powders. Like, I have to consult the Book of Wisdom over here. We'll try stuff like Varget and IMR 4895 and stuff like that. And just different types of powders, just to see if we can get different what the groupings will be with the different powders with the same bullet. And you never know, if these AMAXs are alright, but we might try something else. We might go to 100. Like Sierra has, like, believe my dad has some of them over here. These are for his 308. Sierra 150 grain Spitzer boat tail. Yeah, see, these are for his 308s. So we might. The AMAXs are alright, but you never know. We could experiment, try some 150 grain ammo, see what it does. But overall, I just kind of made this little video as a kind of just like a reevaluation of the hand loads and how well they did. When I get a scope on the M1A, I'm sure they'll probably tighten up, because those irons, like I've said in previous videos, the irons for that rifle are very true. I mean, it's unlike anything I've ever handled before. And I will go back on record where I said, when I was doing the clarification video for the ZQI and Perfecta, I have used other iron sight weapons, other guns that are iron sight rifles. My buddy's SKS, Hugo SKS M59, and his brother's Hugo M24 8mm Mauser both had iron sights, and with those two rifles, it felt like with the Mauser, the 8mm Mauser, I felt like I could hit, like I knew what I was aiming, I would hit what I was aiming at. But with the SKS, it was kind of, I mean, I was aiming in the direction I felt like I might be hitting what I'm aiming at, because the SKS, I've shot one, and we shot it quite a bit that day. We didn't shoot it as much on camera though, but it is what it is. I myself will have to get one and play with one more before I can determine how well I could shoot with the irons on it. But overall, his SKS is pretty cool. But yeah, the M14 has iron sights like no other, and that's just my opinion. They're pretty dead on from what I've seen and what I could tell. Anyway, this has kind of been the reevaluation of the hand loads, what I thought of them, how well they did, stuff like that. I was going to do this video yesterday, but I woke up yesterday with a severe pain in my lower left side down in here, and was probably the worst pain I'd ever felt in my entire life. For the most part, I got it figured out. I at first thought it was muscle cramps. Point is, I got it resolved. Just felt like getting stabbed in the side with a knife. Never been stabbed with a knife before, but that comes pretty close to what it would feel like, I assume. But I'm good now. I'm just taking it easy, and I just hope it goes like it just stays away. So subscribe, rate, comment, like, dislike. We'll be getting back to you on more stuff, especially when we hand load again. I'm thinking about videotaping the whole process of hand loading, how we hand loaded for it, and other than that, I ain't really got a whole lot going on other than the scope mount. I just need like $100 more and I've got it, and with mowing, that's getting close. So I ought to have it. I might, if I keep mowing yards, I'll probably have it before summer even starts. So I'll show you all the scope installation and putting the red field on and all that, and hand loads, and anything else that happens between here and then. Just hasn't been a whole lot going on, really. Anyway, see y'all later.